Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a little girl named Mary. She was known throughout the village for her sweet nature and kindness to animals. One day, while walking home from school, she noticed a tiny lamb all by itself, lost and alone. Its little legs could barely carry its small body, which was matted with dirt, and its eyes were filled with fear. Seeing this, Mary couldn't bear to leave the lamb behind. She gently picked it up, cradled it close, and carried it home. When Mary brought the lamb home, her mother wasn't happy. "Oh, Mary," she said, "we already have 2 sheep at home. We don't really need another pet." But when she saw how weak and scared the lamb was, her heart melted. She cleaned the lamb up and fed it warm milk. The lamb was so grateful for the love and care that Mary and her mother gave it. It quickly became part of their family. The next day, Mary took the lamb to school with her. All the other children laughed and pointed at the lamb, but Mary didn't care. She knew that this little lamb needed her help, and she was determined to give it to him. When it was time to go home, Mary put the lamb in her mother's basket, covered it with a blanket, and walked beside the basket as they made their way home. Soon, the whole village was talking about Mary and her lamb. Some thought it was silly for her to bring a lamb to school, but others admired her kindness and compassion. From that day on, Mary and her lamb became best friends. They would play in the fields together, and the lamb would follow Mary everywhere she went. The lamb was so loyal and loving that it even started following Mary to school every day. This caused quite a stir among the teachers and students, but no one could deny how adorable the little lamb was. One day, something unexpected happened. During recess, one of the boys playing in the field accidentally kicked the lamb. It yelped in pain and ran away, hiding under a nearby bush. Mary was so upset when she heard what had happened. She went to the field to look for the lamb, calling its name softly. When she found it hiding, she knelt down beside the bush and petted it gently. The lamb looked up at her with gratitude in its eyes. Despite being hurt, the lamb still loved the boy who had kicked it. It didn't hold any grudges or resentment. Instead, it forgave him and continued to greet him with enthusiasm whenever they met. Mary was so proud of the lamb for its kind and forgiving heart. She hugged it tightly and promised to protect it. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the bond between Mary and her lamb grew stronger. They shared secrets and dreams, and the lamb became more than just a pet for Mary. It was her confidant, her best friend. Together, they faced the challenges of growing up, learning, and facing the world hand in hand. One day, Mary woke up feeling unwell. A terrible fever had taken hold of her, and her mother was worried sick. She stayed by Mary's bedside, stroking her forehead and whispering words of comfort. Mary's condition worsened, and soon she was too weak to get out of bed. Her mother called the doctor, who examined her and shook his head sadly. "I'm afraid nothing can be done, Mrs. Smith," he said. "Your daughter is very sick. Only a miracle can save her now." Mary's mother felt helpless. She had done everything she could for her daughter, but it wasn't enough. As she sat by the window, tears streaming down her face, she heard a soft knock at the door. She dried her tears quickly and opened the door. To her surprise, she saw Mary's lamb standing on her doorstep. The lamb bleated softly and looked up at her with big, innocent eyes. Confused, Mary's mother stepped outside and asked the lamb if it had come for Mary. As if understanding her words, the lamb nodded its head slowly. Then it turned around and walked towards the bedroom where Mary lay sleeping. Mary's mother followed the lamb, not knowing what to expect. When she entered the room, she saw the lamb standing by Mary's bed, bleating softly. Suddenly, an idea struck her. She remembered an old legend about a magical lamb whose wool had healing powers. Could this be the miracle she had been waiting for? Quickly, Mary's mother took off the lamb's wool and wrapped it around her daughter like a blanket. As soon as the wool touched Mary's skin, she began to stir. At first, she was weak and delirious, but slowly she began to get better. Every day that passed, Mary's condition improved. The healing wool of the lamb had saved her life. Overjoyed, Mary's mother hugged the lamb and thanked it for what it had done. She couldn't believe that this little animal had saved her daughter's life. When Mary learned about the lamb's heroic act, she was filled with gratitude. She hugged the lamb tightly and promised to take care of it for the rest of its life. The news of the miraculous recovery spread throughout the village, and people came from far and wide to see the lamb. But the lamb remained humble and kind, just as it had been before. Mary and her lamb continued to be the best of friends. They played in the fields, explored the woods, and shared their dreams and aspiration. The lamb was always by Mary's side, ready to listen to her problems or offer a comforting bleat when she was feeling down. As they grew older, Mary's responsibilities increased. She had to study for exams, help her mother around the house, and spend time with her friends. Even though she was busy, Mary never forgot about her lamb. Every day, she took time to play with it, feed it, and groom it. One day, Mary had to leave home to attend school in a distant town. She was excited to start this new chapter in her life, but she would miss her lamb dearly. Before leaving, she took the lamb for a walk in the field and whispered goodbye into its ear. The lamb bleated sadly, but it understood that Mary had to go. During her time at school, Mary often thought about her lamb. She missed its playful nature, its gentle eyes, and the way it always seemed to know how she was feeling. Every day, she dreamed of returning home and playing with her lamb once again. After years of study, Mary graduated from school and returned home. She was excited to see her family and friends, but most of all, she couldn't wait to see her lamb. When Mary stepped out of the carriage, she saw a familiar figure running towards her. It was her lamb. It leaped with joy, bleating excitedly. Overjoyed, Mary knelt down and hugged the lamb tightly. It had grown bigger and stronger over the years, but its heart was just as kind and loving as before. From that day on, Mary and her lamb continued to be the best of friends. They spent their days exploring the fields and their nights sharing stories and dreams. And so the tale of Mary and her lamb became a legend, passed down through generations. It reminded people of the importance of kindness, compassion, and the power of friendship. No matter how tough things might seem, the bond between a girl and her lamb teaches us that love and friendship can always find a way.